Greetings, my saplings. Okay, so in today's video, we are going to be going over whether you should sell or hold the Yeezy 350 V2 butter to make the most potential profit. Now, specifically in today's video, we'll be encompassing best time to sell, what sizes specifically to hold or sell, and the reasoning, of course, behind these, because I wouldn't just want to give you guys a hypothesis without any sort of reasoning. Additionally, at the end of today's video, I did want to mention to you guys how I managed to cop 7 pairs on my own, and how for the next release you guys will be able to do the same. Now, before we jump into any predictions, I just want to say, if you like the shoe, rock the shoe, guys, because shoes were meant to be worn. I've mentioned this in previous videos. I really think that you should definitely always keep a personal pair, especially if you like the shoe, but if not, you know, it's fine. You just want to profit off the shoe, and perhaps with those profits, maybe buy a shoe that you actually like. Also, just a disclaimer, guys, these are just my personal predictions. These predictions are based off of how certain sneakers have reacted in the market in the past that have certain relations to these sneakers, of course, that of which I will explain. But if you happen to have any disagreements, feel free to leave it in the comments. I actually would love to hear what you would have to say, but definitely leave your reasoning behind what you have to say as well in the comments below. So before we jump into whether I think you should sell now or hold or whatever, one of the things I want to hit on first is the fact that a lot of you guys were calling these shoes bricks, and we talked about the same thing with the Supermoon Yellow Yeezys, and I really just wanted to stress the point that although there is very, very little profit to be made with this shoe, with Yeezys in general now, there's still plenty of profit to be made, and let me explain it. For instance, if you were to be really skeptical and you only wanted to buy from Adidas because Adidas has free shipping, or also through the Foot apps with like Foot Locker, Foot Action, or just any in-store raffle where you wouldn't have to pay for shipping, you can make about $30. Now, I understand some of you guys have tax, so if you were to be taxed, tax could range a lot, so your profit could be only $10 to $25, but hold on, because that's still good profit. Although $10 doesn't really seem like a lot. Okay, $10 is a meal at Chipotle or whatever, but you have to consider that it is very possible to be able to get more pairs, especially when it comes to Yeezys, because I myself was actually able to get 7 pairs. So let me use myself as an example. So the least potential profit I would be able to make, say I'm in a city where I'm getting charged the most tax possible. Right now, in the common sizes for these Yeezys, they're hovering around $290, and I'm not even talking about the rare sizes, because in the stream, I was telling you guys to go for a 4.5 the most. 4.5 was definitely going to sell for a lot of money, but I'm not even talking about that. Let's stay conservative. So if I were to sell 6 of the shoes, say I want to keep a personal pair, I am still making $60. With that $60, I'm able to take half a day off from work, or maybe I could put it towards a new shoe. More importantly, if you were in a position where you were to, say, get more shoes, or say you didn't have tax in your state, you can make up to $180 if you were to keep a personal pair. So that comes very close to covering the price you paid for the shoe. Basically, like a $40 pair of Yeezys that is legit. I think that's pretty awesome. So I wouldn't really call these bricks. I would say that the profit is very low, but, you know, there's still money to be made. I just really wanted to stress on that point because I know a lot of you guys avoid going for these shoes, even though you can still make profit off of them. But right now, let's jump into, of course, whether you should hold or sell the shoes so you can make the most potential profit. So the first thing I want to mention, like I always mention, if you have them in your hands now, if you got them, say, from an in-store release, or if you get your pair from Adidas.com or any shipper really early, so close to like the middle of the week, I would recommend selling every single size. And you're saying, whoa, whoa, Keith, I remember you saying in the live stream that I think prices are going to be going up in the future. Well, don't worry, I'll get to that because that is an important part. But for now, let's stick to this where if you have them from that time frame very early, I would recommend selling them. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because there will be a significant increase in pairs in circulation once all the pairs are finally shipped to the sellers. All the Yeezy supply pairs, all the Adidas.com pairs, all the consortium pairs through online raffles, through first come first serves online. Those will all become in circulation within a couple of weeks. So the next thing I'm going to say, anywhere from the middle of the week to the end of the week, this will mostly be your Adidas.com pairs and perhaps a couple of consortium pairs. Maybe if you're lucky, even some Yeezy supply pairs, but for me at least, Yeezy Supply takes forever to ship, and that is where a lot of the stock comes from. So if this is the case here, middle of the week to end of the week, here are the sizes I would recommend holding. I would recommend holding a 4.5, a 5.5, 6.5, perhaps a 12.5. This one's up to you. And then 13.5 and up. These sizes I would recommend holding on to, despite the fact that there will still be more pairs coming in circulation throughout the next week. The reason I'm saying to hold these pairs is because the amount of pairs that are coming into the circulation isn't going to be significant enough to make a really big difference in comparison to the more common sizes where you might still see a drop. So again, for these more rare sizes, I would recommend holding them. And if you're wondering how long should I hold them, I'm going to recommend you hold them for around 6 to 8 months. Now, comes after 1 to 2 weeks. Any longer than that, I'm going to have to recommend that you guys hold every single possible pair you have. So this will mostly be Yeezy Supply pairs because Yeezy Supply takes forever to ship, unfortunately. And of course, a couple of other consortium stores that take a while to ship. Because at this point, the prices will have basically hit the trough, meaning that they've kind of just bottomed out. They may perhaps go just a little bit lower, but it's not going to be by much. However, over 6 to 8 months, maybe even less, maybe just a little more than that, you will see that these prices will begin to start climbing. And we saw this with the Yeezy 350 V2 Beluga 2.0. We saw this with the Yeezy 350 V2 Blue Tin. The reason I'm comparing it to these two shoes is because despite there being really high stock with these Yeezys, they're still increasing in price. The reason being is because there's a lot of demand on them. Now, I understand, guys. I understand. There's less demand on these butters than there was for the Beluga 2.0s and the Blue Tins. But you also have to keep in mind there was significantly less stock. For instance, Yeezy Mafia tweeted out that for Adidas.com, there was approximately 37K pairs going live. You guys remember, for Adidas US, during the Cream release, it was only 60K pairs. Then for the Beluga 2.0s, it was 90K pairs on Adidas US. Obviously, these aren't total stock numbers, but they do correlate, and it is for the most part proportional to the overall stock. So for the Creams, being that there was more stock on Adidas.com, that also means that there's more overall stock coming from Yeezy Supply, consortium stores, Adidas Confirmed app, etc. So there's definitely lots of potential for the prices of this shoe to rise, and I'm going to say more so than other shoes in the past. Again, despite there being less demand, I really do think that people are overestimating the amount of stock there actually was for these things. You also have to remember, though, that demand is really important. Like when it comes to those frozen yellows, those were the most limited V2s, and they kind of just plateaued. If anything, they actually went down. So don't expect a ridiculous rise, but expect an adequate rise where you're definitely going to be able to make more money. Of course, this all depends on how patient you are. So going back to what I was saying in the beginning, I recommended selling your early pairs right away. However, if you're really patient and really willing to wait, where you're willing to wait through the storm, of course, being that dip in price when more pairs go into circulation, that price will eventually increase to over the point when you had the first opportunity to sell them. Of course, you would definitely need a lot of patience for this. That's why I always recommend selling early pairs as soon as possible, just because although you might make a little less in comparison to holding, time is money, guys. But again, if you really don't need the money, if you can hold on to 6 pairs, you can hold on to 10 pairs, you could even hold on to 2 pairs, I would recommend holding from this point on, because I do see that these will increase similar to the Beluga 2.0 and the Blue Tin, where the rare sizes, they increased by a lot, but also the more common sizes, like a 10, they still increased by about like $60 or so, which is definitely good money if you're considering the fact that you might have more than one pair. Now, to conclude today's video, I of course did want to mention to you guys how I did on this release, because I know a lot of you guys were asking during the live stream. So I myself managed to cop 7 pairs, and my dad managed to cop 3 pairs, because, you know, he's into the game himself. But the pairs that I got, one of them was from the Foot Locker app, that is through the reservation app. If you guys recall, on my Twitter, I tweeted out the codes for you guys, so you could get that minute head start. For the 2 stores that I couldn't get the code for this time, I retweeted what FTL codes tweeted out. So I always recommend going for the foot apps if that's possible. Then also, I won a sneakers and stuff raffle. Finally, it's been a very long time. I make those videos, they're called tips for copying, where I go over all the first come first serves online, and I also go over the raffles and how to get multiple entries, and I would recommend watching those videos whenever there's a hype drop. Then also, I got 2 pairs on Yeezy supply, which I wasn't really expecting because there was a set time and I thought that it was going to be much harder. And yeah, I understand there's going to be $20 shipping on those, but I don't have tax in my state, so I'm still able to make profit off of those. Then also, I got 3 pairs on Adidas from the splash page. You guys saw me waiting in the splash page. I did this by using the multiple people jig. I've explained this a ton of times. If you don't know what the heck that is, feel free to check out this awesome video right here. I'll have an annotation at the end of the video for you to click on. So that'll cover my 7 pairs. Now for my dad, he managed to get 2 pairs from the foot apps. He got Foot Locker and Foot Action, and then he got 1 pair through the splash page. So congratulations to anyone who managed to cop a pair. If you didn't, if you did take an L, it's definitely okay. Like, this was a more limited release in comparison to other V2s in the past. Basically, there's a lot of hype coming out. Don't stress it too much. But with that, I'm gonna leave you guys. Feel free to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, if you perhaps learned a thing or two. Again, feel free to share your predictions down in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you'd have to say. But with that, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you stay updated on all these hyped releases. I don't just do these resale prediction guides. I, of course, also make how to cop guides so you can get these shoes for retail, whether it be for resale purposes or for personal wear. But I'll see you guys later. Have a fantastic rest of your day.
Now I can't run and I can't walk. You hit me so hard, I don't want to talk. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah.
Why are you always in my way? Knocking me over every single day. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.